shirt.
All I ever wanted was a normal life.
My son, the Ten Rings, gave our family legendary power. Show me you are strong enough to carry them.
I'm nothing like you. I thought I could change my name. Start a new life.
You can't outrun your destiny.
I'm not afraid of you.
Marvel Studios' Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Rated PG-13.
Welcome back, everyone. Big surprise, Marvel dropped a brand new Shang-Chi trailer video, so we'll break it all down. There's a bunch of Easter eggs, so if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. The movie's coming out in September, so you won't have to wait that long for the next really big Marvel movie. I know everyone's wondering when that Spider-Man trailer is going to drop. Don't worry, I'll address that at the end of this video too. But they start this trailer with that funny scene of the tournament of him actually just entering the ring for the first time and his friend Katie sitting there wondering, hey, where'd your shirt go? What'd they do with it? So it sounds like they just rip it off him when he goes into the tournament. He just shrugs like, I don't know what's going on here. This might be before he winds up fighting the Abomination. It might be like the very first fight, because the way they pace things out in the last trailer, you see them standing in the crowd watching Wong get his ass handed to him by the Abomination, who's finally back. I know everybody's wondering what he's been doing this whole time since Avengers Infinity War and the events of the Incredible Hulk movie. You have to picture Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character just standing off of screen, just getting ready to recruit him the minute the tournament is over. Like, hey, I have a special assignment for you. Spoiler warning for the Black Widow movie too if you've not seen Black Widow. So in the Black Widow movie post-credit scene, we actually found out that Yelena Belova has been working for her for a while after the events of Avengers Endgame. So it just seems like she's going around the MCU collecting a group of anti-heroes in a very Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers type of team. It seems like she's got the Raft on speed dial so that she can talk to Baron Zemo. She also just recruited US Agent at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Pretty safe bet to say Abomination is probably somewhere on her list. But he's actually going to be showing up during the She-Hulk series next, so we might not see her actually recruit him either till the end of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings or to the end of the She-Hulk series. Kevin Feige confirmed that Val would continue to show up in a bunch of different projects. This movie is just the next big place she could possibly show up. The reason why it seems like he might be fighting Abomination first is just because we've only seen the footage of him actually fighting in the ring when it's against his sister. So I think the whole idea with Wong getting his ass handed to him and it being kind of a funny WTF moment, like, wait a minute, I thought he was supposed to be really powerful. How did he get his butt kicked so easily? It's just to make the Abomination, who looks way more comic booky now. If you're wondering why it seems like he has the fins on his head, that's because that's what the Abomination looks like in the comics. They just toned him way down for the Incredible Hulk movie. Maybe because they were afraid of him looking too weird at the time. Like Marvel Phase 1, they tended to play things a little bit safer. Now that we've gotten to Marvel Phase 4, we've already done a talking tree and a talking raccoon. Marvel probably isn't afraid to do really weird things with characters, so thus the more comic book accurate looking version of Abomination. And they can also play it as if he's just evolved, like his appearance has evolved over time. His gamma mutation has evolved over time. Although if you really want to reach, you could also blame it on Loki and Sylvie and what happened during the Loki finale. Speaking of Incredible Hulk, you could also blame the recasting, the Mark Ruffalo recasting of the Hulk on what Loki and Sylvie did. Like Edward Norton was the Hulk until Loki and Sylvie came along and unleashed all the Kangs from the multiverse. There's going to be a lot of those kind of theories flying around when things get weird during Marvel Phase 4. But early theory, the whole Abomination versus Wong fight is just to hype up Shang-Chi defeating Abomination to make him seem that much more powerful, then also making his sister seem that much more powerful when she's able to kick him around too after he winds up kicking Abomination's ass, who has just kicked Wong's ass. A series of successive ass kickings. The other really big thing in this trailer is you actually see Shang-Chi wielding what seems like 5 of the Rings of Power. Now there are 10 Rings of Power, but I think the idea here is that his father is trying to train him to take over his criminal empire, the Ten Rings organization. He wants to be good, and at some point in the movie, he sort of learns to wield the same power that his father is wielding and learns to command the power of the Ten Rings in a more complete way than his father does. So it seems more likely that he's actually taking the 10 rings from his father a little bit at a time. Like when he's plummeting down to Earth, he lands, you see the energy of these 5 rings change from blue to orange. So it seems like there's some sort of aerial fight, and the rings are actually shooting after him down to Earth. Then once he takes control of them, their energy changes to orange. Because in that last trailer, when you see them standing off and you see the energy between them as if he's trying to pull the other 5 rings from his father, there's blue energy and yellow energy like he's fighting him using his own innate power that he's learned to control. It seems like he's getting ready to take the remainder of the other 5 rings from his father. I know there was just a lot of confusion about what was going on here. Like, wait a minute, did he just find a bunch of extra rings? I don't think that's the case. I think there's still just 10 rings during the movie. The other big thing we've learned since the last big trailer came out is what's going on with the Great Protector Dragon here that he sees underwater and this special island with the door that it seems like they're trying to get into. Michelle Yeoh clarified that her character is the guardian of this secret city, so I'm assuming that she was talking about the city that's behind this door on this island. And it has something to do with the temple that they're fighting over with these monks in the background, both in the flashbacks, like the red monks that he's fighting in this giant war, and in present day when Shang-Chi is in his full comic book costume and he's getting ready to fight his father. Like it's the same group, just during a couple different time periods. It's still not really clear why it is that his father wants to take control of this place, or what it is that's behind this door that he wants so badly. But the way Kevin Feige explained the Mandarin character, played by Tony Leung, who's a fantastic actor, he does some amazing martial arts films, so I can't wait to see some of their fights during this film, is that they wanted to present a more complex picture of what the Mandarin was like in the MCU. Like he wasn't just a typical mustache-twirling villain. So even though he's the main antagonist of the movie, he is supposed to have a very good reason for wanting to get into this city, wanting to control this power. It sounds like it might have something to do with whatever happened to Shang-Chi's mother. Like you see her in the flashbacks training here, and it looks like the same type of training that Shang-Chi is getting in present day from Michelle Yeoh's character. Like she's connected to the power of the 10 rings in some way. Maybe she has something to do with these people that the monks come from. But because of all the tiny dragons flying around during this fight scene in what seems like present day just based on the costumes that all the Mandarin's men are wearing, I'm assuming that this is their version of the Maculans from the comics. Whether or not they actually do Maculans or they explain that this ancient culture that created the 10 rings is a little bit different in the MCU. In the comics, the people that created the 10 rings were this ancient race of space dragons, basically, who came from another planet. They just got really bored, they got so advanced that they left their planet looking for adventure. The ship wound up crashing in ancient China, and that place where it wound up crashing became known as the Valley of the Dragons, and that became the special place that they were trying to protect this whole time. So it sounds like when they're looking at the island here, the Great Protector Dragon protecting this place, Michelle Yeoh's character, this is their version of that part of the comic book story. But we'll see if they wind up changing things and they don't wind up being space dragons. They haven't really explained that part of the film yet. The other funny thing that you may have noticed in this trailer, it seems like it might just be an error based on the way they cut the trailer and it'll be fine when the movie gets released. But during this bus chase scene, as they're driving through the streets of San Francisco, he's got that big razor fist fight in the other fight with his father's men. You notice the text on the bus reads, "One California," but it's actually reversed, as if they filmed it, completed the special effects, and then just reversed the trailer shot, like they literally flipped this shot horizontally, so the text reads backwards instead of the correct way. I'm assuming just whoever cut this trailer for Marvel just did it that way, and when we see the actual movie, they'll fix the text and it'll read the correct way. Sometimes you'll see that with Marvel trailers, like they'll change things on purpose just to make it a little misleading. Like during Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, all those trailers were just a little bit different so that you didn't know exactly what was going on in scenes, or you didn't know how many Infinity Stones Thanos had at any given moment. But every once in a while, just some weird thing will just make it through whatever their QC program is. There's a little more footage of his father in this fight in present day in the white suit that you see him in earlier in the trailer, fighting this character in green called Jiang Ling. It's not really clear who she's going to wind up being, or if she's connected to the people behind the 10 rings, or if it's someone connected to his wife. But their fight seems pretty epic, so she does seem connected to this city that they're trying to protect here on this island. There are a lot of people that have also asked about Fin Fang Foom and whether or not the Great Protector Dragon, the giant white dragon, is supposed to be the movie's version of MCU Fin Fang Foom, because he's a McLuhan just like the other big space dragons that created the 10 rings. But the way they've explained it so far is that Fin Fang Foom isn't really a character during the movie, so they're just completely changing that part of the backstory of the 10 rings. But like I explained in my last video, the interesting thing about the Mandarin's palace here is that you look at this giant carving all across his wall. It's super elaborate. It basically depicts what seems like the history of his family in the history of the 10 rings. Like this giant dragon here represents the Great Protector Dragon. There's a door door here that represents the door on the island. When you see them wielding their power, you see it light up with the same type of energy that Shang-Chi is wielding when he's wielding the 10 rings later. We've already talked about how he's basically supposed to cross over with the Avengers in Avengers 5 and join whatever the next roster is going to wind up being. I don't know if they're going to wind up doing a version of Agents of Atlas or if he'll have some other team that he'll put together in his own franchise, because obviously there'll be sequels to this movie. But you can tell why his costume is built the way it is, so that when he's wielding the 10 rings, there's all that dead space on his arms that they'll fill up, even though the MCU 10 rings are like giant bands that he wears around his wrists. We'll see how they explain the power of the 10 rings during the movie. They're still kind of vague about what's going on with them, because in the comics, the McLuhan 10 rings of power were actually just built to power their spaceship. I have a feeling the MCU explainer will be a little bit more complex than that. But if you were wondering on a power scale, they're not really meant to be the next version of the Infinity Stones. They probably won't be that powerful, just because Marvel had that big joke during Loki, like, Infinity Stones, oh, we use those as paperweights here in the TVA. That was basically Marvel playing a joke on the Infinity Saga of movies and saying that we're kind of moving past the Infinity Stones as a big plot device, even though you'll probably see them referenced again. Like, we just spent 10 years using the Infinity Stones as MacGuffins. We're not going to go right back to that with the next couple of movies. They'll also probably explain why just any old character can't just pick up the 10 rings and wield their power. It seems like there's some special innate power that Shang-Chi has to wield in order to be able to use the 10 rings themselves, as opposed to the Infinity Stones that any person powerful enough to pick one up could actually use if they wanted to. So that'll explain why someone like Iron Man or someone like the Hulk couldn't just pick up one of the 10 rings and use their power. But if you spotted any brand new Easter eggs in this new footage that I didn't talk about during this video, just write it below in the comments. I know people are still wondering about what's going on with Wong. Why is he fighting in this tournament? Does he need sandwich money? What's going on? The actor who plays Wong, Benedict Wong, actually said that he made a big deal about wanting to be in the Shang-Chi movie when he found out that they were making one. So it sounds like he lobbied behind the scenes to get himself in the movie, and they just found a really clever way to include him. And as for the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, it does sound like Marvel is still planning on releasing the movie at the end of the year. I don't think that that's changed or anything like that, but Kevin Feige said that their marketing departments at Marvel and Sony both coordinate so they don't overlap their trailers too much. Worst case scenario, I think, is that they'll wait till the Shang-Chi movie hits theaters and they'll just attach the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer to that. But there'll be a whole bunch of videos coming up. Marvel's What If series is going to be the next big thing I'll be doing videos for. That'll start really soon in the next couple of weeks. Make sure you have alerts enabled for my channel so you don't miss any of those. Everyone click here for my brand new Loki video about how Iron Man knew about Kang in the MCU, and click here for that brand new first look at Ben Affleck's Batman in the Flash movie. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys tonight.